We is on. Yo, you too. What it do? How's everybody doing? Guys, I understand it's a little bit late. 6:54 p.m. I'm currently making this video. Honestly, you gotta respect it. I mean, I've been on my grind today. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that follow my social medias. Collectors Club is out, right? Collectors Club is open doors, and I'm having so much traction and good conversations with you guys. I've already had like 5 one-on-one private calls with people that have joined Collectors Club. I've already had tons of meetings with the admins for upcoming stuff that are going to be dropping and potential sauce that is going to be coming out within the next week of this. But for you guys that are following on YouTube, Collectors Club is out. It is my public free 100% free Discord server. Okay, it is probably going to be one of the most like engaging servers that I've ever created that you guys will ever see. One of the things that I want to dive into in this video is not only talking about Collectors Club opening up, but the study of XAMD and AMDX. Okay, so I actually stated here in my teaching announcements, I had basically like 10 DMs last night right before I was about to go to sleep. It was kind of funny. Everyone was asking the same stuff. Is I talk about every single day AMDX, XAMD, and the study of it, how to use it in your trading, right? How to implement it. So I wrote down here, I've gotten a lot of questions about it, blah, 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 stating in the last few hours, I wanted to create a study regarding this, a full breakdown. And now keep in mind, every single day for this week is going to be a deeper and deeper study upon this, basically, what title, right? The AMDX, XAMD market profiles. There's going to be in-depth every single day, more information about it. This is simply an introduction to it. This is, in my opinion, towards intermediate understanding. Okay, so I want to hop straight into it. I came down into my free content, and that was the first thing I posted today, the study of AMDX, XAMD market profiles. Okay, now, coming into this, I want to explain it in depth for a lot of people that don't truly understand what I'm trying to state just by text and pictures. Okay, the study of AMDX and XAMD market profiles as we know it, right? Whether this is a market profile bullish or a bearish market profile, every single day, every week, every month, as I state in my videos, are gonna have its own PO3 cycle. It's gonna have its own AMD cycle, right? X being the expansion, that's kind of like an addition, right? That could either be beginning or end, quarter 1, quarter 4, right? One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't understand about AMDX, XAMD is that this is primarily how I'm actually framing my trades. Okay, so obviously you guys know high time frame PD arrays, PO3, AMD, right? This is how I frame it. It's quarterly theory, PO3 market maker models. This is how I frame my trades. But quarterly theory and the understanding of it, when you dive deeper into it, you'll actually realize that market moves against these visuals, meaning it accumulates, it manipulates, it distributes, and it has an expansion phase. So this is kind of how it sets the stage. This is how it tends to be viewed as. Obviously, PO3, I stated all the way on the bottom of that. AMD is how price sets up as the view, right? This is how it looks. Realistically, PO3 is price-based entries. Okay, this is meaning PO3 is gonna prove to us where and when most of the time the manipulation and distribution wants to happen, right? This is what I mean by price-based entries. QT or quarterly theory is time-based confirmations. As a lot of people know, you need your cracking correlations such as quarterly theory, cycle, sequential SMTs, and cracking correlations, right? You pair all these together, you're unstoppable. This is what I state. But with the study of this, I want to go through this and basically explain this to you guys, okay? I wrote in here, now this is pure information from ICT himself. I didn't copyright it, right? I didn't just grab it. I put it into my own words. But it's the study that our markets are programmed algorithmically, okay? it is created around these market profiles, or as we call, to manipulate and target against orders in the market known to us as buy stops and sell stops, right? This programmed algorithm is created to target against basic human emotions such as FOMO, greed, chasing trend, right? All these basic emotions that normal traders, retail traders will have, right? This manipulation, a lot of people don't actually think about it, but AMDM being the manipulation, it's called manipulation for a reason. Manipulation is going to target against people, and it's going to make them fall into basic human emotions, to chase trend, to fall into FOMO, to basically just want to be a part of it, because what this is going to do is set the stage for smart money reversal, distribute, take everyone out of the market, and smart money wins. Okay, this is how AMD is actually formed, right? So when the algorithm was designed by smart money, the whole point of it was to manipulate human behavior, to entice buyers and sellers because they want to have the advantage over our orders. This program or market profile consists of 3 major cycles plus 1 obviously being the expansion, right? Number 1 obviously being accumulation. During this stage, or as we know in quarterly cycles, either could be quarter 1 or quarter 2 depending on the expansion phase, is where consolidation initiates, engineering buy stops and sell stops for later draw on liquidity. Okay, so how I'm framing this and how a lot of people don't understand this is accumulation is not just something you want to neglect, because accumulation is actually going to set the stage for what's to come. Okay, for this example that we're going to be speaking about, as you can see on my chart, this is a market maker buy model, right? In this sense, this is a bullish market profile as we get a bearish manipulation and a bullish distribution. So understanding this example, when accumulation occurs, these buy stops are basically being protected until the distribution portion initiates. Okay, this is very vital. Is when accumulation occurs, what it's doing is not just a consolidating, right? Even though it looks like consolidation, it's doing specifically something that is vital to us, and what that is engineering liquidity. Okay, so what it does is engineers buy stops, engineers sell stops. In a market maker buy model where we're simply assuming that the overall bias is bullish, right? We're going to be getting a bearish manipulation run into usually a high time frame PD array, high time frame discount range, OTE level, right? Something that's going to prove to us a bullish upcoming momentum run, right? So I stated here, M for manipulation being our next stage, quarter 2 or quarter 3. As you guys know, if expansion is either Q1 or Q4, that then pushes manipulation to be either Q2 or Q3, right? Is when price expands, rating one side of liquidity, as we just stated, which would be the sell stops first. Of liquidity in this example will be the sell stops, and smart money pairs with these sell stops with long positions. So what this means is that smart money, as ICT explains, is basically part of the algorithm, right? They're against us. What they're trying to do is constantly take us in and out of the market so that they can make the most on their positions and the retail traders can make the least, right? So what this is doing is when market accumulates, engineers buy orders, engineers sell stops. Market's going to purge the sell stops, taking everyone out of the market that went potentially long during the accumulation consolidation stage. And what it's going to do is it's going to stop usually at a discount range of over to the left range on the higher time frame, right? Probably into a high time frame PD array, and then it's going to set the stage for a smart money reversal, which could be in our sense a market maker buy model, right? So smart money initiates long positions. You could see under here what rests sell stops. That's their sell stops, the smart money sell stops. These are protected lows now as a pure manipulation run. So what are you expecting? That because we had accumulation, manipulation, setting the stage for smart money reversal as sell stops underneath smart money, This low is protected as they are trying to make the most in their money, in their portfolio, meaning these buy stops at the accumulation highs is the draw on liquidity. This is where price is like targeting. It is the pool of liquidity. This is the draw. This is what price wants to get to. So what are we expecting? We're expecting an expansion above these highs into higher highs. Okay, one of the biggest things is that, manipulation, when it occurs, distribution 9 times out of 10 is going to be greater than that move. It can be 0.5 it, 2x it, right? That's part of why a lot of people use standard deviations. They're trying to get projections to see how high is it really going to go. Other ways to reference this is also using all-time highs, prominent highs, untapped gaps above these buy stops. Those are clear draws on liquidity as well. As we see, distribution, last stage in the cycle, it could either be Q3 or Q4. Market reverses into bullish market structure, expands higher, triggering the buy stops above the first stage accumulation highs up here, which now become new orders, right? So a lot of people understand what a breaker is. This is how a breaker is essentially formed, is there's buy stops above here. Price then proceeds to sweep it, right? Which then become new orders. And then price retests the buy stops that got swept as a new order, sending price higher, almost like a fair value gap in a sense. Okay, now we have two different market profile scenarios, as we know, bullish and bearish, each having really its own set of rules. Let's say in this example, the clear draw on liquidity is all-time high buy stops, right? I'm going to go into the picture closer up in a second. Before reaching this point of interest, price is going to accumulate positions, as we saw, followed by a manipulation, as we shown examples above. What tells us the manipulation move is finished and ready for a reversal? That's when you look to the left of price. Any untapped discount ranges we just spoke about, right? Fair value gaps, untapped gaps, right? Any PD array, really. From here, price will reverse and afford long positions to those buyers above all-time high buy stops ready to collect. Okay, this is basically closer up of that picture we were just looking at. Okay, so when we have our accumulation stage and price manipulates, purging the sell stops, creating our smart money reversal or our market maker buy model, it's not just going to stop at a random level. Okay, this is crucial, and one of the biggest things that people don't understand is that price is not going to reverse at a random level. Meaning, if price is sending down and you think maybe this low is going to start the reversal, it's improbable that this low is going to be the reversal, because right under it could potentially be a fair value gap, an order block, a breaker, a volume imbalance on the higher time frames that will then start the bullish spool. You see where I'm getting at? So this is the whole thing about what I talk about in my Discord a lot, is probabilities, right? You have to make sure that you're on end of probabilities and not assumptions. Okay, price is not going to just randomly move. It's going to be moving from a high time frame PD array that sets the stage for the buy model. I hope that makes sense. Okay, as we can see, smart money reversal, market maker buy model after tapping whatever PD array could be potentially down here. Price starts spooling. What do we have? First stage of redistribution, seeing it's a market maker buy model. Now, I'll get in depth about market maker buy models and sell models and reversals and smart money reversals, all that type of stuff, deeper into my Discord in upcoming videos, I promise. But right now, I'm primarily focused on AMDX and XAMD, as this is a big concern for a lot of people trying to learn my studies. Okay, as we can see, first stage redistribution, second stage, and then bam, AMD cycle completes. What is it targeting? The buy stops accumulated above here, and a prominent high or a PD array at the top, right? Which in this sense, I actually stated could be all-time high buy stops, right? As an example. Draw on liquidity, as we can see, that's when the AMD cycle is complete. Okay, now coming down into it, one of the biggest things that I'm gonna get into further within more studies and more videos that I keep producing, right? I feel like this is kind of what I want to start doing. All right, so my YouTube channel for the longest time has been breakdowns of basically the trades that I take. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stop doing that, but one of the biggest things that I want to transition into is deep studies of specific like entry models and confluences that you guys personally need, right? Because right now I'm just some guy that you guys are watching and enjoying their content, but really you guys want to learn how to trade, and that's what I'm here for. Okay, so I'm definitely going to probably be doing like a YouTube category where it's like a deep study for the next few months, maybe for the rest of this year. So definitely something I'm going to be talking about in the Discord with my admins, getting all that set up. But I'm hyped, guys, because I have a lot of stuff that I need to get off my chest. You guys have to learn some shit. All right, but always keep in mind these AMD cycles are fractal, right? A lot of people don't understand what fractal means. Now there's a deep sense into time is fractal, right? Time is fractal is a little bit different, but what I'm stating is AMD cycle fractal, right? This means repetitive, meaning that we can see these a lot of times on different time frames as it's happening at the same time. I hope that makes sense. Meaning higher time frames have individual cycles of AMD, but coming down into the lower time frames, there could be another AMD cycle in that. This breaks down into the study of QT, also known as quarterly theory, which we will speak about more deeply into the following, days ahead, right? As looking in this example above, assuming we are looking at our 15-minute chart. Now, I want you guys to assume that this is a 15-minute chart fluctuation, okay? Because AMD cycles are fractal, each small given high time frame retracement can have its own low time frame AMD cycle in play, which also dives into the study of MMxM and how redistribution sets the stage for low time frame AMD cycles in high time frame AMD runs. Okay, I'm going to be speaking very deep about this in upcoming days, but how I want to break this down is that, think of it like this. If price is going to start a smart money reversal and continue in a market maker buy model, let's say this is a London manipulation reversal, right? And then coming into Q3 is AM, New York AM, and the first thing that we get is a prominent high and then a small reversal coming into, let's say, a 15-minute gap, right? Let's say that. I'll draw this out right here. Let's say this is a 15-minute bullish fair value gap. As we're looking at this on the 15-minute time frame, this could look like a small retracement, right? But the whole point of AMD cycles can be fractal is the fact that when this starts reversing coming morning open, this could set the stage for not only the high time frame market maker buy model of our first stage of redistribution, but it could also set the stage for 1 to 5 minute low time frame AMD, meaning we could possibly see accumulation, manipulation into 15-minute gap to continue distribution. And then this would be the same thing right here. This could be second stage of redistribution, which could be accumulation, manipulation, distribution, AMD cycle is complete. So I hope that makes sense. It's going to be a deeper breakdown eventually when I dive into MMxM and PO3. Right now it's the study of AMDX and XAMD, but that's how I'm going to be breaking it down. Okay, hold on, dude. Every time I talk, I feel like I have like to burp or something. Hold on. Jesus. Okay, so hypothetically, let's say price has already started the smart money reversal, which we just talked about for our MMBM on the day during, let's say, 7 a.m. Let's say this low is 7 a.m., but we don't anticipate, we don't participate into price runs until 9:30 opening bell. Let's say this is our 9:30 opening bell. We can simply wait on a low time frame AMD to form within the high time frame redistribution sections, which we just spoke about, on the way up as a continuation model. Signs of this occurring are high time frame gaps being filled to push higher, but on low time frame 1 to 5 minute, we can simply get AMD cycles. Okay, this is something I literally just spoke about. This is classic examples of how AMD could be fractal. Now, with AMD plus 1 being our expansion, showing almost every day, every week, every month, right? As I've broken this down in multiple videos before, how you go from highest to lowest time frame, we have to keep in mind this is simply a market profile scenario, meaning AMD is how price sets up as a view, PO3 is price-based entries, QT is time-based confirmations. Okay, pair all that together, I said to everyone, you'll be unstoppable. Okay, so this is kind of how I just wanted to frame this video today, is I wanted to break this down for you guys and give you exactly, obviously, what I'm giving my server, but also what to expect in the next few videos that are to come, right? This is simply an introduction to AMDX XAMD, but this is how I frame my trades every single day. This is something that is very crucial and that I want you guys to pay attention to, that study my work, is that when I'm coming into the monthly time frame, this is what I'm looking for. And then into the monthly time frame, you break that into quarters. You understand that there's 4 weeks in a month. So each of those weeks is going to have its own XAMD or AMDX cycle, right? And in that, there's going to be 4 quarters of the week, plus Friday being an additional, right? So that means each day is going to have its own AMDX XAMD cycle, right? So you could see how, breaking this down, this means AMD cycles or market profiles are fractal. They're very fractal, because it means that from higher time frame AMD down to lower time frame AMD is essentially how you're framing your trades, because you need to make sure that you're on the right part of it, on the right side of the market, on the right time of the market. So you have quarterly theory, AMD, power of 3, right? And this is basically how I set my trade up for the entire week last week, and how I was able to assume every single move, right? So I'll break this down again. In my Discord, coming into my Snowski Outlook, I stated last night, before any of this happened, as a breakdown, the overall upcoming weekly outlook, this is how I'm assuming, based off of our monthly PO3 cycles formed, will turn out, right? I want you guys to pay attention to this stuff, because I was correct about today, and I bet you I'll be correct about the whole week. This upcoming week's monthly profile sits at an expansion phase, right? I told you guys, monthly cycles have its own stage of what? AMDX XAMD. So look at this. We have already gotten our accumulation, our manipulation during our tariff dump. We got some Q2 time distortion, and then price during last week's price started our distribution, right? Seeing we're in our last week of our monthly cycle, we already got in our PO3 cycle, our monthly open, we already manipulated under it. We already started our distribution. So seeing it's in an expansion phase, it's two scenarios. It's either going to expand higher highs, or it's going to reverse into the range. Now, understanding that distribution tends to be 2x of what manipulation is, would you assume that expansion is going to be continuation, or would you expect expansion to be reversal? Because I'll tell you right now, it's going to be expansion. And that's personally what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to be right? Because I was last week, I was the week before that, and the week before that. I think we're going to create higher highs. So within this, understanding this upcoming week's monthly profile sits in expansion phase. Seeing this, expecting a greater run above higher highs, I won't be surprised if all we see is bullish runs into this week into all-time high territory, which I just spoke about. Reminder, I'm waiting for bullish cracking correlations confirmation between Tuesday and Wednesday's delivery, as this will prove to us the bullish upcoming delivery. Now, why do I say Tuesday to Wednesday? Because Tuesday to Wednesday is Q2 and Q3, which tends to set the stage for our manipulation move. When that manipulation move happens, that tends to be the low of the week, and we need some type of cracking correlation, such as a high time frame divergence. That will prove bullish, okay? You have to always remember, your trades are based on probabilities, not assumptions. Wait for price to tell us where it wants to go, not assume. When Monday opens, which is today, this is where we are taking notes for what to expect for the rest of the week during its weekly PO3 cycle. Questions to ask yourself: did Monday expand from Friday's delivery? Do we end up accumulating above or below weekly open price to set the stage for a weekly PO3? Building this data will get you ahead. So, I just stated that. These two questions: did Monday expand from Friday's delivery? Yes. Yes. And I stated right here, the likelihood of us seeing pure weekly expansion coming into today, right, is probable with the understanding of news volatility. Now, this is something I'm going to break down heavily in my Discord server, but what I want you to see here is trading's about probabilities. I spoke it right here. This would mean XAMD weekly profile, which is what? Yesterday. Last night. I stated this before it happened, which now I already know what the rest of the week's going to do, right? Why did I assume this? Is because news. If this is our weekly news and Wednesday's our first red folder, that would mean Wednesdays has the probability of giving us our biggest move. Or not exactly our biggest, but our first large move, which would be what? Manipulation. Wednesday's what? Q3 of the week. Okay, so Monday, expansion. Tuesday, accumulation. Wednesday, manipulation. Thursday, distribution. Friday has its own set of rules, such as TGIF, true week open retracement, or it could simply just continue what Thursday's delivery is giving us. Okay, you could see how I broke that down with probabilities based off of news. Obviously, said Monday will prove this if otherwise, and I'm already proven right. Okay, so that's how I wanted to break down today. Okay, stating all this. Join Collectors Club if you haven't. Link is in the description, in all my social medias, and on my YouTube bio. Guys, I love you guys so much. Sauce every single day. And I mean, nothing else, really. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Wonderful trading week as always. And guys, as always, I'll see you guys at the top. Peace out.